17 years old, coming in here playing like he's a vet.
17-year-old practicing with the Olympic team. Ron ain't practiced with the Olympic team at 17 years old.
He ain't just tall, he athletic, can shoot it, can handle it.
He supposed to be able to go straight out of high school. We really just holding him back. Like, that 1 year at Duke ain't gonna do nothing but hurt him.
I mean, he's a hell of a player. Clear as day, like, we gonna be playing against him in a few years. And
Cooper Flagg is taking the basketball world by storm after his remarkable performance on Team USA Select Team. He is the best high school prospect we have seen since Zion Williamson. Cooper has been labeled a generational talent with the ability to be one of the best defenders in the NBA. That is a lot to say about a kid who is not even legally an adult yet. So how do we evaluate a player who is this young and is competing with NBA legends? Is it time to crown him the next NBA great, or is he just another casualty of high school hype? Well, I don't think so, because Cooper has something that most high school players don't have. Now, quick backstory about me. When I was in high school and in college, I was a huge fan of high school hoops. I would religiously watch high school hoops over NBA games because I thought high school hoops was the coolest thing ever. I can tell you this for people that don't keep up with high school basketball. High school rankings mean absolutely nothing. There are so many great high school players that you will see, and Ball is Life will hype them up and label them the next Kevin Durant or the next Steph Curry. And then you see them get to college and they just kind of fizzle out. If we take a look at every top 100 player from 1998 to 2013 and examine them based on how successful their careers have been, it will look like this. 98% of the players in the top 100 went to college, 29% of them were drafted, 27 of them spent less than 2 years in the NBA, 25 of them were a below average player, 11% were mediocre, 4% were great, and only 2% became NBA superstars. That 2% is only 31 players out of the 1,563 players examined. We can even go further and just focus on the top 10 ranked players like Cooper. 99% of them make it to college, 84% of them get drafted, 80% spend less than 2 years in the NBA, 78% are below average players, 43% are mediocre, 19% of them are great, and only 9% of top 10 high school basketball players actually turn out to be superstars. I say all that to put into perspective how hard it is to evaluate that a high school player is going to even make it to the NBA. Even if we look at a more recent sample and take the top 5 players from 2017 to 2021, you will notice only 4 of them even made an NBA All-Star game so far in their career. Rankings in high school basketball mean nothing. But I think some of you guys that keep up with high school ball already know this, so this is not news to you. For some reason, a lot of you guys are looking past all of that and are ready to crown Cooper Flagg as the next NBA great because of one scrimmage. There are some flaws in Cooper's game that I don't see many people talking about, and honestly, I think they need to get addressed. Let's start with the biggest critique on Cooper's game, which is his shooting. Now, Cooper did shoot 39% from 3 his senior year, which is good, but he often suffered from an inconsistency when it came from shooting. You can credit most of Cooper's shooting slumps down to his bad mechanics. There are multiple videos online breaking down how he needs to fix his shooting form. In high school, you can get away with this type of thing, and even in college at times. But in the NBA, players with bad form tend to struggle with their shot earlier in their career, and they take time to learn to adjust. This might be something that Cooper wants to start adjusting now. Another problem with his game is his ball handling. At 6'9", he's going to be asked to handle the ball a lot at the pro level. He has shown flashes of a solid handle, but he way too often loses control of the ball. Plays like this, where Cooper just loses the ball after trying to go downhill. Or this play right here where Cooper is trying to make a move on Boozer. He loses the ball, gets it back, goes over to the free throw line, loses the ball again, and then shoots up this terrible contested shot, which leads to a break. Unfortunately, this happens way too often in Cooper's game, and this is something that needs to be cleaned up. Now let's look at the other side of the basketball where he has been praised for being a generational defender. Too many times we see Cooper being too aggressive and gambling on plays where he really shouldn't, and they will lead to easy layups. Here he is again guarding top prospect Cam Boozer. He makes a move on Cooper, and instead of trying to stay in front, he reaches for the ball and just gets lucky that Cam blows this layup. Most of the time, his gambling actually comes from off the ball, not on the ball. Like this play where Cooper is trying to play help defense, not even looking at his man. He then jumps at a pass trying to get a steal and puts him in terrible position, and his man gets an easy finish inside. Now, I'll be honest, these flaws are minor and can be tweaked very simply. But the reason I even point this out is because I have seen situations where a player that is as good as Cooper has these small little flaws that would just flourish into bigger flaws when they got to college because no one addressed them. The best example I can show you of this is a kid who had maybe the same amount of hype or more hype than Cooper Flagg in high school, Imani Bates. Imani at 15 was labeled the next NBA great. Sports Illustrated put him on the cover of their magazine with the headline, Magic, Michael, LeBron, Imani Bates. Meet the 15-year-old next in line. Scouts said that Imani was good enough that he could start at major D1 colleges at 15. One scout even said that they would go as far to draft Imani Bates at number 1 at 15 years old. So what happened? How did a player who had as much hype as LeBron James did at 15 virtually fall off a cliff? Well, Imani played in a system in high school that was perfectly crafted for him by his dad. His dad was his head coach his entire life and even created an AAU team for him. So that means many of these flaws that people would say about Imani's game was never addressed, and they only compounded when he got to college. While in college, he still had a lot of the hype that he had when he was 15, and people were starting to see his flaws in broad daylight now, and he was starting to get exposed. Combine all of that, it was a little bit overwhelming for him, and unfortunately, he lost his love for the game of basketball. Now, Imani did make it to the NBA and he's currently fighting for a roster spot in the Cavs, but he is far from the prospect that anyone expects him to be at 15. This should be a cautionary tale to basketball media to stop overhyping a prospect to the point where they have expectations they can never live up to. This is my single biggest fear when it comes to Cooper Flagg. Because of his performance at Team USA, people are putting expectations on him that I don't know that he can live up to. Especially when we think about how similar the Cooper Flagg situation is to Imani Bates. Cooper Flagg's mother, Kelly Flagg, a very talented hooper in her own right and played D1 basketball, is the assistant coach for his AAU team. She's also been the assistant coach for most of his life, including the AAU team that also features his twin brother. This is what scares me about him because I fear he might be in an Imani Bates situation. A kid playing in a perfectly designed system for him to shine without much correction. Now you might think that I don't believe in Cooper Flagg at all. That's actually the furthest from the truth. I actually really believe that Cooper Flagg is going to be great because the more I watch him play, the more I start to believe that he's just different than a lot of other high school players we have seen. At 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan, Cooper Flagg literally erases shots. This play right here, he absolutely demolished the first attempt and then he's like a pogo stick and jumps again and snatches the ball out of midair. This is literally a block that I only see in 2K and it doesn't even look real when he did it. Another play, we get to see Cooper's great help side defense. He steps over and then shows his God-given athleticism to block the shot off the glass. Now, this is something that I have mentioned before on my channel in my video about Victor Wembanyama when I talked about his ability to cover ground on the defensive end. I labeled it gravity, or as some of you guys said in the comments, it's more like anti-gravity. And Cooper kind of has the same thing as Wemby does in this play right here. So here he is doing his best impression of it, showing his help on the drive from the perimeter, then closing out to block this corner three. Now let's look at one more block just for fun. Right here, Cooper drops from the free throw line, gathers his feet, and then blocks his baseline dunk. Plays like this cannot be taught. This is pure instincts and athleticism. Due to his height, Cooper is going to be forced to play the forward in the NBA, which means he's going to have to be able to guard on the perimeter. So let's look at him do some defense on the perimeter in high school. Here, we see Cooper closing out on his matchup. After a quick move to the rim, Cooper times it perfectly and absolutely destroys his shot. This time we see Cooper picking up his man from half court. He first knocks the ball loose, but the ball handler keeps his dribble. He then calls for a screen, but Cooper beats it so quickly that it has no effect on him at all, making the screen pointless, and now he has to regroup. As soon as he regroups, Cooper pressures up and comes away with this steal. One thing that really has impressed me about Cooper is his ability to fight over screens. Here you see him get hit with 2 quick screens back to back, but his quickness makes the screens non-effective, which leads to his opponent having to pass the ball up. Defensively wise, I'm gonna be honest with you, Cooper's a monster, and he reminds me a lot of Wemby when we look at how good he is of covering the off ball. But this is something that we don't see from Wemby in the NBA, is the ability to really go off screens and guard guys that are quicker than him on the perimeter. So let's switch over to his offense, the part of his game that I think needs the most work. He does have some great things that he does on the offensive end. On this play, we see Cooper coming off the screen and he hits his defender with a disgusting hesitation move, and then we get a showtime dunk. I need to run this one back because this is probably one of my favorite Cooper Flagg clips. I mean, this is just a crazy hezzy and then a beautiful dunk to finish this off. This right here is the one you start all the hoop mixtapes with. Now, like I said, he's not the greatest ball handler, but he has a quick first step for his size, and right here you see him using that to blow by his defender and rising up to dunk this basketball. Now, one thing you will notice about Cooper Flagg if you've never seen his highlights, Cooper Flagg dunks everything. No matter where he's at on the court, if he gets to the rack, he's dunking the basketball. Now, there is one part of Cooper's game that does get overlooked on the offensive end, and that's his playmaking. With his size, he's taller than most defenders that he played against in high school, so he has the ability to read the defense. Right here, you see him take a ball screen, and I love this play. He makes a pretty left-hand pass to the roller right in the pocket. Once again, we see another similar play from him, making a great pick and roll find, and that's an easy layup. This next play, I'm gonna be honest with you, is not really a great read, but this is just a crazy pass, and I think it's only a pass that Cooper Flagg can make. Right here, you see him jump up and get this rebound, which he just jumps over everybody, and then immediately has the presence of mind to pass it in mid-air to his center. That's a Cooper Flagg play. No one else is making that. Last play. Cooper is working out of the post on this one, and as soon as he feels a double team coming, he makes a great pass over to his teammate for the layup. Plays like that and his pick and roll passes are things we know that will translate when he gets to the NBA. Now we have to talk about why he's been getting so much buzz lately and what he just did recently in Vegas. Cooper was selected to join the Team USA select team and practice against the Olympic roster. This roster featured LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, and so on. This team is absolutely stacked with players who have dominated the league for decades and young stars. However, the biggest name coming out of the Team USA practice has been Cooper Flagg consistently. In his scrimmage versus Team USA, Cooper was seen dominating NBA legends. Now, this game does not have an official box score, but reporters and attendants speculate that he had around 14 to 17 points. This sequence is the one that really got everyone so hyped on Twitter and has had NBA scouts drooling at their mouth for a chance to get Cooper Flagg on their team. To start off, you see Cooper getting guarded by Jrue Holiday. He gets a switch over to Anthony Davis, and then he pulls up and drains a three in Anthony Davis's face. The next play down, he comes back and almost completes a put-back dunk, and this is probably an and one, and wow, absolutely beautiful. Cooper showed during this scrimmage that he is truly worth the #1 ranking and why teams are going to be tanking for Cooper next year. The Team USA performance did bring Cooper's hype to levels that would usually be scary to me about any other prospect. But there was something that also came out of this Team USA scrimmage that to me shines brighter than anything he did on the court. And it made me a believer in Cooper Flagg, and I officially jumped on the Cooper Flagg hype train after hearing these things. Just listen to Kenyon Martin and Gilbert Arenas talk about what separates Cooper Flagg from 2017 top prospect Marvin Bagley.
He looked different. Like that Cooper Flagg, he's fucking competitive as shit.
Yeah.
Mark was skilled, talented, didn't compete.
No, that's what it was. He didn't.
Just skilled and better than everybody at that age. You know what I'm saying?
This is what fascinates me the most about Cooper Flagg's time with Team USA. Listen to what some of the NBA players on this roster said about him. Devin Booker said, "He wants it. You see how bad he wants it." Jalen Duren said, "He showed no fear." Trace Jackson Davis added on, "I just think he's got that competitive fire. He's not afraid of anyone and he's going to go at you." And lastly, Langston Galloway quoted, "I'm not even impressed about his scoring at all. I'm more impressed about his poise." These are phenomenal things to hear about a kid who is 17 years old playing up against NBA legends. That no one was really blown away by his skill level, because you can have skill at that age. They're all blown away by his poise and his work ethic and the mindset that he has coming into practice. Oftentimes we see these top players lack the mental strength and work ethic to be great, which is what we saw early on with Imani Bates. But Cooper seems to already have all of that. To be able to walk into a court surrounded by that level of talent and still hold your own, not only is extremely rare physically, but mentally as well. What really cemented it for me with Cooper Flagg that he had a great mindset was his tweet from his mother. Cooper just had this crazy poster dunk where he does a quick stare down on the kid he dunked on. Nothing crazy for real, but just read his mom's response. Mom's thoughts: I don't love the stare down. Let your game do the talking. I know they all do it, but I don't like it. I appreciate that the kid at least made the attempt to stop it. Do you hear what she just said? Let your game do the talking. To me, when you have your own mom speaking about you doing a harmless stare down after a highlight play, just speaks volume to how you were raised to approach the game of basketball. He wants to be great, and he's not interested in all the other antics that come with basketball. He just wants to hoop. I also love this quote that Cooper had after playing against Team USA. Once the ball goes up, I'm just trying to win at all times. I'm just a competitor, and that's what it boils down to. It's been a little bit of adjustment being on the court with him, but at the same time, I'm just playing basketball and trying to learn. I don't know about you, but that quote right there absolutely sold me on everything Cooper Flagg, and I bought all the stock I could on Cooper Flagg at Duke as soon as I heard it. My only hype now is that the Cooper Flagg hype dies down just a little bit, so he can focus on basketball and being a great student at Duke. Now, I know it won't, and I'm a part of the problem, but I just hope it does not get to his head like it has with a lot of top prospects before. I truly hope I am right about his work ethic and his mindset, and Cooper can translate this over to the NBA. The last thing I want to do is be scrolling on YouTube 5 years from now and see a video titled "What Happened to Cooper Flagg?" Because man, those videos absolutely hurt when you swore that a high school player was going to be a star in the league. To this day, I swear to you, Cam Reddish is going to be good. Y'all just got to give him time. Y'all just got to give him time. But seriously, I do hope that Cooper is not going to go down the path that a lot of these other top high school players has. And I don't think he will, because he already seems like he knows what he needs to do to be great. And he's had the experience playing against some NBA legends and getting those jitters out before he even got to college. He has a complete skill set to be great in the NBA, minus some minor tweaks. But at 17, to just have a couple of issues in your game is actually speaks volume to how good you really are. Anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping. If you learned anything today about Cooper Flagg, drop it in the comment section. Or if you just want to talk about Cooper, or if you just want to talk about my durag or whatever, I don't care. Just comment, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel to let me know if you guys want to see more videos and more breakdowns of players like this. And as always, God bless.